Traveling around Spain is not the same as watching amazing facts about Spain. There is, however, no better way to satisfy your wanderlust and gain a basic understanding of the colorful culture there, and Spanish culture is unquestionably unique. So we compiled a list of the top 20 facts about Spain that may surprise you. Now, let's get started. Number 20. The world's first modern novel was written by a Spanish author. When it comes to facts about Spain, this one is a bit of a debate. Many books claim to be the first novel, but most people agree that The Tale of Genji by Lady Murasaki, which was written in the 1100s, was the first one. However, Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes is thought to be the first modern novel and the most essential piece of literature ever written. It is a pretty much made-up fiction story that lets the reader see the world through the eyes of its strange characters. Many say that Don Quixote is Spain's most important gift to the rest of the world. There are even statues of the peculiar knight and his loyal servant, Sancho Panza, located at the Plaza de España in Madrid, Spain. Number 19. Nudity is okay. One of the most intriguing things about Spain is that it is pretty hot, but you probably know this, and it's not even a particularly fascinating fact. But because it is so hot, the country has no nudity regulations. You can go naked in any public place and not be arrested. It is, however, frowned upon, and regional laws restrict it in cities such as Barcelona, so be cautious when you choose to disrobe. Interestingly, when nudity is legal in Spain, driving barefoot is not. If you attempt to drive barefoot in flip-flops, you may face the cold hand of the police, and these two are against the law. Well, who would have known? Number 18. Spain hosts several quirky festivals. Spain has a variety of festivals ranging from the well-known to the most unusual. Two of the most notable are San Fermin in July and La Tomatina in August, which is essentially the world's largest food war, with thousands of locals and tourists gathering to throw tomatoes at each other. The Las Fallas de Valencia is also a spectacular 3-day celebration full of pyrotechnics and firework displays. On the other hand, Concurs de Castells, held in Tarragona, Spain, is less of a festival and more of a tradition. This event brings together men, women, and children of all ages to compete by building human towers. Number 17. There is a Spanish royal family. If you didn't know this interesting fact about Spain, we've got no judgment to give, since it is not widely known compared to the United Kingdom. The Spanish royal family comprises of the king, King Felipe VI, Queen Letizia, and their children, Leonor, Princess of Asturias, and Infanta Sofia of Spain, as well as the king's parents, King Juan Carlos I and Queen Sofia. The Spanish royal dynasty, members of the House of Bourbon, has ruled Spain for almost 300 years. The Spanish royal family is linked to the British royal family through their father, and both Felipe VI and Queen Elizabeth II are descendants of Queen Victoria. Number 16. Spanish is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. Spanish is a global language that is expanding at a rapid pace in terms of the numbers of speakers, nations where it is an official language, and geographic reach. Spanish is among the top 5 languages in the world. It is a United Nations official language and a reference language in international relations. In terms of native speakers, Spanish is the second most frequently spoken language in the world. Furthermore, it is the most widely spoken Romance language and the third most used on the internet. The massive colonial growth brought in not just to America, but also to Africa and Asia. Because of migration, the United States has the world's second biggest population of Spanish speakers. Number 15. Spanish anthem has no words. Most national anthems are there to be sung and half forgotten while you hum along, pretending to know the words. Not so in Spain, when you won't have to memorize anything save the tune to their national anthem. It was written in 1761 and is known as Marcha Real. It is also one of the world's oldest national anthems. Manuel de Espinosa de los Monteros composed Marcha Real in 1761 as a military song for the Spanish infantry, but in the 1770s, Charles III named it the official March of Spain, and later it became the country's national song. A variety of attempts have been made to set words to the Marcha Real, some of which have been utilized on previous occasions. The Spanish government, however, has not officially authorized any of the suggested lyrics. Number 14. We have chocolate thanks to the Spanish. Although Spain wasn't technically discovered, they spread the goods across the world. Italian and Portuguese merchants introduced sweet oranges to Europe in the late 15th century. On the other hand, the Spaniards transported the fruit all the way to Latin America, Mexico, and Florida. Christopher Columbus is thought to have planted the first orange tree in the Americas during his second voyage in 1493. The chocolate moved to the opposite direction. The first shipment of cocoa set sail from the port of Nueva España to the Spanish coast in 1520. Although bitter cocoa was not famous at first, it became a valuable product and a favorite snack of the nobility after the Spaniards began to sweeten it with sugarcane. Number 13. Madrid is the physical center of Spain. We continue our list with one of Spain's most interesting geographical facts. Did you know that Madrid is Spain's administrative and physical center? A little inlaid stone located on Puerta del Sol symbolizes kilometer zero, the location from which all distances in Spain are calculated and the country's geographical center. Throughout Madrid's history, the spot has served as a hub for transit as well as intellectual and economic activity. Many important historical events took place at the Puerta del Sol, including the resistance to Napoleon and the proclamation of the Second Republic of Spain in 1931. It was the city's first modern portion and has evolved into a gathering spot for locals and visitors. Number 12. Spaniards live on a different rhythm. Spanish culture has an unjustified reputation for laziness. The world-famous siestas, also called afternoon naps, portray Spaniards as individuals who prefer relaxing rather than working. However, they simply have a different beat than other Europeans. Did you know that lunch is usually served between 1 and 3 p.m. and dinner is served around 10 p.m.? While lunchtime is a busy time for restaurants in the United States, it is a slow time in Spain. It's too early for lunch and far too late for coffee and Spanish pastries in the morning. As a matter of fact, most eateries won't even begin prepping food for another hour and a half. But this way of living doesn't make people idle. It's just that Spain has been in the wrong time zone since World War II. Even with the changing seasons, the Spanish have maintained a consistent mealtime based on the sun's arc across the sky. Number 11. Spaniards live longer. In Spain, the average life expectancy is 83.86 years, an increase of 0.15% from the previous year. By 2040, they are expected to have the longest life expectancy, surpassing longtime leading Japan. According to a survey, Spain is the world's healthiest country, ranking first. Spain's people eat a Mediterranean diet high in omega-3, lipids, and protein, which have been associated with a lower incidence of dementia, heart disease, and cancer, putting the country among the top 5 in terms of life expectancy. A Mediterranean lifestyle stresses convivial meal times, a well-balanced diet, and walking as a form of transportation, all of which contribute to reducing pollution-related mortality. Obesity is associated with pleasant meal times, which are also related to good mental health. Taking the time to connect with family and friends boosts one's mood, produces endorphins, and improves the population's overall well-being. Well, cuisine undoubtedly plays a role, but the combination with an everyday siesta is the key to immortality. Before we continue with the list, please subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps us bring you more content, and please don't forget to turn on the notification icon so you won't miss out on any of our travel videos. Let's continue with number 10. Spain has a toothed mouse instead of a tooth fairy. Strange but true, in Spain, children don't believe in a tooth fairy but a toothed mouse. Its name, Ratoncito Perez, comes from the work of Luis Coloma, a novelist from the 19th century. Ratoncito Perez first appeared in the anthology in 1877. Still, he didn't become a part of Spanish folklore until 1894, when author Luis Coloma was commissioned to pen a tale for King Alfonso XIII, who had recently lost a tooth at the tender age of 8. According to the story, once a tooth is lost, the little Ratoncito Perez is said to come and retrieve it from under your pillow as you sleep, leaving you a money present. Number 9. Spain has a physical border with an African country. When you zoom out on a map of Morocco, you'll find a tiny sliver of land that does not belong to Morocco at all. It is a Spanish property called Melilla, a small city in Spain. It's also one of 2 Spanish enclaves in Morocco, forming Europe's sole land border with Africa. Melilla has the same language, gastronomy, architecture, and money as the rest of Spain. You might as well be in continental Europe. Only after you walk in the outskirts of town do you realize you're on a different continent. There, you will see one of the world's most defended barriers to avoid legal immigration and smuggling. Number 8. Spain was the world's first global empire. The idea that Spain was once the world's most powerful nation is certainly noteworthy. Over 300 years, Spain conquered the Philippines and most of North, Central, and South America, surpassing the Portuguese trading empire in both scale and influence. They acquired a great deal of wealth and left behind a significant cultural legacy, as well as a sizable number of native Spanish speakers. The Spanish Empire left a substantial urban, architectural, and cultural heritage in the Western Hemisphere. Hundreds of cities and towns were established in the Spanish colonial era in the Americas. Universities, forts, cities, cathedrals, shops, hospitals, schools, missions, government buildings, and colonial mansions are all part of the visible legacy. Spanish engineers laid the groundwork for several major infrastructure features used today, including highways, canals, ports, and bridges. The cultural and linguistic legacy of the Spanish Empire is extensive as well. Number 7. Spain was under Muslim control for 5 centuries. Way before Spain became a global empire, Spain was the only country in Western Europe dominated by Muslims. This kept it separate from the rest of Europe. Still, Spain was the richest during the Umayyad dynasty, and Muslim cities like Granada and Cordoba were much more advanced in science, medicine, and arts than their Christian counterparts. People often talk about the Muslim period in Spain as a golden age of learning, when libraries, colleges, and public baths were built, and literature, poetry, and architecture thrived. Both Muslims and non-Muslims made essential contributions to this cultural growth. Cordoba, the capital of Umayyad, Spain, in the 10th century was the wealthiest and most advanced city in both the east and the west. There were 500,000 people living in 113,000 houses. The city and its 21 suburbs had 700 mosques and 300 public baths. They were paved and lit up. There were bookstores and more than 70 libraries. In 1492, the Muslims finally lost all power in Spain. By 1502, Christian rulers had issued an order ordering all Muslims to convert to Christianity. And when they had failed, they imposed brutal regulations on the remaining Spanish Muslims. Number 6. Second biggest tourism industry in the world. Spain, which takes up the majority of the Iberian Peninsula, is the continent's second most popular tourist destination. In 2019, Spain welcomed an estimated 82.7 million visitors, an increase of 1 million from the previous year. Numerous festivals in Spain attract visitors from all over the world, and the country's attractions are popular tourist destinations. Some of the many attractions in Spain include its rich biodiversity, surprising climates, wild fauna, adventure and sports opportunities, and an endless number of protected natural spaces. The Burgos Cathedral is an excellent example of Gothic architecture anywhere around the globe, while the incomplete Sagrada Familia in Barcelona draws millions of visitors every year. Number 5. Double surnames. Everyone is probably aware that names in Spanish culture are long and frequently repeat themselves. This is because Spaniards are usually given 2 surnames, the father and the mother. In most cases, you will only use one surname when addressing someone in everyday situations. Surnames in Spain are frequently astonishingly long. This is because a kid is given both parents' surnames at birth. The first surname is the father's, while the second is the mother's. In general, children will never have the same surname as their parents. Also in Spain, your surname does not change when you marry, as it can in the United States and the Netherlands. But if a Spanish girl marries someone from the United Kingdom or the Netherlands, she can also assume her husband's name. But just how it is, they believe that using 2 surnames honor a person's mother as well as the father through the usage of surnames alone. It is also a more specific and accurate identifier than using one surname instead of 2. Number 4. Celebrating New Year's Eve means eating grapes. The 12 grapes is a Spanish tradition in which a grape is eaten with each 12 o'clock bell that strikes midnight on December 31st to greet the new year. It's trickier than it looks, but the Spaniards say that you'll have a lucky year if you manage it. Each grape and clock bell strike indicates one of the 12 months ahead. The custom dates back to at least 1895, although it became popular among the general public around 1909. In December of that year, certain Alicante's vine growers popularized this practice in order to sell a large number of grapes from a good crop. Eating the 12 grapes according to custom bring a year of good fortune and riches. This technique was once thought to fend off witches and evil in general, but it is now primarily done as a tradition to rejoice and greet the new year. The 12 grapes have also been adopted in regions with a strong cultural connection in Spain and Latin America, as well as Hispanic communities in countries such as the United States. The Philippines has also adopted the custom, sometimes replacing the grapes with other fruits such as oranges or watermelon. This custom is part of the Hispanic Christmas celebrations. Number 3. Home to the world's oldest restaurant. According to the Guinness Book of Records, Casa Boten, founded in 1725, is the world's oldest restaurant and a benchmark of Madrid's best traditional food. Forbes magazine ranked the house 3rd among the world's top 10 classic restaurants, citing its 2 specialities, suckling pig and lamb grilled in the Castellan style. Shipments of the famous Segovia suckling pigs and lambs arrive at the restaurant 3 to 4 times per week from the magical triangle from this meat. The lambs and suckling pigs are slowly browned in the antique oven fueled with home oak wood and breathed slowly and solemnly. This firewood and its embers, strategically positioned to the left of the stove, evenly disperse the flavor of salt, pepper, water, lard, white wine, bay leaf, onion, and garlic throughout all the suckling pig and roast meat. The restaurant is also mentioned in Ernest Hemingway's novel The Sun Also Rises. Number 2. La Sagrada Familia is still not finished. Rome was not constructed in a day, and neither was La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. Sagrada Familia is the world's largest unfinished Roman Catholic church. This landmark Barcelona building is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of Spain's most popular tourist attractions. Its construction began in 1882 and has remained unfinished for more than 140 years. Even though the project's principal architect, Antoni Gaudi, committed his entire life to it, less than a fifth of a basilica was completed by the time he died. Visiting the beautiful Sagrada Familia nowadays also means seeing a massive red crane and the project's gradual progress towards completion. The Sagrada Familia is currently scheduled to be finished in 2026, the centennial of Gaudi's death. When the spires are finished, Sagrada Familia will be the highest cathedral in the world. Number 1. Spain is UNESCO's fourth largest heritage country. Spain is a beautiful country with so much to experience, from its stunning beaches to architectural wonders and must-see cultural traditions. What many visitors may not realize is that Spain has the fourth most UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the world, a total of 49 sites. World Heritage Sites are sites on Earth with great global worth to humanity. Any potential UNESCO World Heritage Site must meet at least one of 10 criteria in order to be designated as a World Heritage Site. These cultural and ecological assets are being preserved so that future generations can enjoy and appreciate them for many years. Although this lovely destination offers 49 UNESCO sites, some of the most popular are Altamira Caves, Alhambra, Teide National Park, the Historic Center of Toledo, and the Camino de Santiago. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely watch this next trending destination. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what your favorite place was. See you next time.